Well, hello, hello. Welcome, everyone, and thank you so much for joining me live today. Today, we are going to have a demo from one of the best softwares out there. They are an AI powered transaction management software. And they agreed to, do a demo live today, so we can have the chance to take a peek inside of the software, and we can get to, see everything that they offer. And at the end, we can ask them questions. So I'm going to bring our guest. His name is Trevor, and he's going to be showing us around Listedkit. Okay, so here we go. Hi, Trevor. How are you?
Hey, I'm great. How are you today?
Doing awesome. Thank you so much for taking the time to join us live today for
Of
this
course.
demo. And Trevor, before we jump into the demo, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself, about the company, and
Sure.
you know,
Yeah. So, Trevor Newberry. I am located in Birmingham, Alabama. I'm the director of product with Listedkit. So, it's my job to coordinate engineering and design and marketing and just make sure that we're all moving in the same direction to build and ship something really great for our users. Listedkit is a pretty early stage startup. We're really excited about the transaction management space. We've learned so much from the people that are actively using the product, from all the people that we got to talk to before we launched the product. And then, of course, as you know, the whole wave of AI has hit basically everything. We've been really excited about how we can use that to make it even better for our users. So, so Listedkit is the thing that we're here to talk about today. I'm really excited about it.
Awesome, awesome. That's great. Well, thank you so much. We really appreciate it. And we are super excited as well because, as you mentioned, AI is, here to stay. And we better take advantage of all the offer. And if that can make our, jobs easier and more effective, we're happy to do so. So, Trevor, why don't we just go ahead and start your presentation?
Yeah. 1 second.
Yeah, absolutely.
Let's see.
And while you get everything ready, I just want to give a shout out to David. David, thank you so much for joining live. David is an amazing, business owner that happens to be a transaction coordinator as well and coach. Most importantly, he's a very, very successful coach in the TCS space. So we are honored to have David here live. Thank you.
Very cool. All right, just to be sure, you can still hear me? Is that correct?
Yes. Yes.
Awesome. Very cool. Let me jump over here then. All right, so we're ready to go, Cecilia?
Yes, you
Cool.
are.
So this is Listedkit, or this is at least a slide demonstrating Listedkit, an AI-powered transaction management platform. When we started Listedkit, it's actually a really interesting journey. We learned so much about the different people in the real estate space, the different types of users, from agents and brokers all the way to transaction coordinators, EAs, and all the rest. And really where we settled on was transaction coordination is really sort of the glue that holds everything together. You know, we really want to make sure that, as you say, all the trains are running on time, and that's it's kind of the Wild West. There are obviously some tools out there that do a good job with this, but there's not nearly as many as we might see in a more mature and well-served space, right? So we were really excited about diving in and seeing what we could really do to deliver a lot of value here. So a couple of things that we think are really interesting about Listedkit: AI innovation. So we work really closely with AI. I actually work with several different products. So it's not just Listedkit. I work with several different products, all of which are leveraging AI in different ways. Our philosophy with AI is that it should be an augmentation tool, not a replacement tool. So what we're really interested in doing is saying, if task X takes a transaction coordinator or a transaction manager an hour, how can we help them do that in 10 minutes, right? How can we help them do that in 5 minutes? We really just want to help our users get more with less as we're moving along. Also, we're privately owned, right? So the big the big elephant in the room, or the big elephant in the room is Zillow, right? We are privately owned. We intend to remain privately owned. I think that's a really big benefit to a lot of our users. And then one of the things I love so much, and one of the reasons that I wanted to be here on this call, is actually because we're very customer centric. That's an easy thing to say, but our shop, we actually really believe in getting really close to our customers and acting quickly on the feedback that we are getting from those customers. You guys are the subject matter experts. I am not. I'm not a realtor. I am not a transaction coordinator. So far be it from me to decide that I know how to do this. I need to talk to you guys and learn more about this process and how we can make a really great product for you. So I
Awesome.
think we're here to see it in action. But before I do that, I want to see if there's any questions.
All right. So
If not, we'll jump right in.
sure, sure. Let's
Cool.
jump in, and if not, we can always, interrupt you with questions as they show in the live chat. Okay.
I try to keep these relatively casual, so you should not
Yeah.
feel bad about.
Awesome. Perfect. That sounds good.
All right, so we're inside of a test Listedkit account, and I know everybody wants to talk about AI, but I'm going to talk about a few things before we get there, just to kind of show where we've been and then where we're going, right? So this is a Listedkit test account. I know all of the TCs on this call are probably like having heart attacks, seeing all these overdue tasks. This is just because we create a bunch of different transactions to show people. But this is what you're seeing when you first log in, right? So we've got our transactions right here in front of us. We've got all of our under contract, review needed, closing date passed, and recently closed. You can navigate through those really pretty easily. It's pretty straightforward. You're going to see your upcoming deadlines right in front of us right here. This is really a quick and easy place to see what's happening like right now, or as you can see here, what's overdue. You'll also notice this includes things like document requests. So we treat document requests both as like the document itself and as the task, right? So there's a task to collect that document, and then we'll also store that so that it's easily accessible from within Listedkit. You don't have to go to different tools. And then you'll also see your team here. So you'll see a bunch of different funny names there. But the first thing that I wanted to show everyone is living inside of a transaction. So I just started this one just a few minutes ago for this. This is what our transactions look like. We actually have a really neat MLS integration. We have a data partner that will pull some basic information on properties just using the MLS number and the state. It's not perfect. Some of them are missed, but most of the time it gets it. And it'll import the property image here. You'll see a nice background. And then we select our listed kits, which those are the sort of the bread and butter of what we do here. Your kit is your series of milestones and tasks that guide you through this transaction, right? So we set these up for you, or you can set them up yourself. And we actually are working on some other things I'll preview here in a minute. But Listedkit is broken into milestones, which contain tasks, right? So the milestone here is process a new contract. So you're under contract. This is just an example kit for everybody's reference, but you're processing a new contract, and we've created all these different tasks in any document request. You can also see there are some emails in here. So we also do some email automation inside of Listedkit. We allow you to send templated emails. They're transactional, so this is not an inbox. It's just you're sending information in one direction out to a client or to an agent or to an all parties email, which is one that we see is pretty common. And we use smart fields inside of these emails. So let me show you an edit view here. You'll see all these red curly bracketed pieces of the email. Those are things that, as long as we have that information for a transaction inside of Listedkit, they're going to automatically pull into that email and send on your behalf. You can schedule these emails to be sent automatically, or you can come in and send now. So that's a pretty, it's been a pretty helpful addition to the tool. We've found that a lot of people have been really happy with that. So we can go through the rest of this. The only other things that I wanted to show in a transaction is we have the ability to conduct reviews. So for compliance, if there are documents or tasks that are incomplete, you can actually select those, write a quick note, and then send it to whoever the task or the document to request is owned by. And then we allow you to do post-closing tasks. We know a lot of you or your agents like to send out thank you baskets, gifts, things like that. Congratulations on your new home. You can put all that right there. So that's what a transaction looks like. And then, of course, you have a transaction view that you can navigate in and out of. But a couple of things I wanted to go ahead and like kick off here with is you'll see over here that says transactions are ready for review. This is actually our AI contract reader. So since this is like kind of around how we're using AI, I want to go ahead and jump straight into that. When you start a transaction, you can start one manually, which is just entering all of your information just as you have it. This also includes the use of the MLS tool. So you can go ahead and pull that property image in, address, some very basic information. But this right here, extract contract details with AI. That when you select that, it's going to pop up a little modal here. You can drag a file or you can browse. I have a bunch of test stuff here. So our test transaction is this one right here. This is just a mock contract. And you can start processing. Okay. So I have the one thing about AI is that it can actually take a little bit of time. So sometimes we find that it takes up to 2, 3, 4 minutes to go ahead and process that. So I went ahead and started one, and I want to show you guys what that looked like. Right. So we start with the MLS number. This is an old document, but I'm going to go ahead and move without that because that MLS number is no longer relevant. But if this is obviously would be a relevant transaction, you'd be able to put that in there and grab that property image. And what you'll see pretty quickly here is that we've got 21 fields that we extracted from the document, all of these different fields. AI is not perfect. And this is one of the things I like to be like really honest with people about, right? AI takes a little bit of time to get used to. It takes a little bit of training, and we're constantly updating our own model for this. But it does a pretty good job of pulling a lot of information in. Once it does that, you can scan through and find any of these little green magnifying glasses, and that will let you go to the place in the document where that information was pulled from. So you can double check things. If you want to do that, see, this is going to pull me straight to where we found that loan contingency date. Okay, so you can review that. You can update those things. One thing that's actually coming later, we're actually maybe a couple of weeks away from this, is the ability to train this for yourself, right? So right now, it'll get better generically the more total users just use this tool. But what we're going to allow you to do in the future is say like, hey, this is my standard document. And I want to tell you like, yes, this is correct. No, this is not correct. So that every time you use it, it gets smarter and smarter and more accurate. So that's the next phase for this part of the Listedkit product. So this is, I want to stop here. I'm going to navigate back to the video view so I can see you guys and see if, I'm on the right one. See if you guys have any questions about this right now.
Yes, thank you. Thank you. That's great. I believe that Sherry was saying that it wasn't very clear. Now, Sherry, please feel free to, ask further questions, but just to probably clarify a little bit, not on the software, but on the general idea of the TC. For Sherry, normally the way that you will start a file will be uploading a document. If I understand correctly, please correct me, Trevor.
Sure.
And then running that through the AI tool that you have. So the software itself will be extracting information from the contract. Then you as a TC will have to be very careful because, as he said, AI is not perfect. So you will have to visually scan everything and make sure that if something wasn't accurate, you will correct it. And then after you run that process, I am guessing that the software is going to create a file based on the address. That is one way to do it.
That is correct.
And I guess that the other one might be doing that manually, pulling an MLS number or an address. Is that how it is?
That's correct.
Okay, wonderful. So once that you do that, then you have a new file. And then the new file will be showing on the very first, picture that you show us where you have a list of all the properties that you are, managing. Is that right?
Yes, that is correct. So what I'll do, I'll go ahead and start this. Let's just add that. So we'll need to have a closing date. Now this is an old contract, so some of the dates are going to look a little wonky to you guys. But I'm going to go ahead and add that in and hit continue. So this process is the same whether we use the manual process or if we use the AI contract reader. So you remember I mentioned your kits earlier, right? So this is your process. This is, you can create your milestones, your tasks, your emails, your document requests, however you like to work. You can also start with a blank kit if you want to build it as you go. But what you'll see here when you get to the stage of creating a transaction or creating a file, you can go ahead and select, I'll select my buyer under contract kit, save changes, and then it's building the transaction, right? That's creating the file. That'll take that just a minute to get that loaded up. In the meantime, you can see that the file that I uploaded over here is ready to review. I get a little notice about that so that I can go and review it. Let me navigate back to home while that's being set up. And I want to show you guys the manual transaction here. So when you do that, you just get this MLS box immediately. And what I'm going to do is go grab an MLS number. Let's see. And just show you what that looks like. So we're in Alabama. You will have to select your state. So if you're in a different state, you'll have to select that. And we'll search. And hopefully it's one of the ones that it catches. Yeah, beautiful image. You'll see we've got some basic property information. We've got the MLS number, the address, hit autofill. And at this point, you can decide to go ahead and create your file this way, right? You can go ahead and just say, like, I'm going to select my transaction type, agent, client, and then set a closing date, and I can just go with it from that point and fill in things later. You also have a lot of advanced fields inside of Listedkit. So this actually can be a little overwhelming for people. So I'll show you how to actually manage that. But over time, we've added a lot of different fields that you can actually use. So as you're adding this, for example, purchase price into this, purchase price, that might be something the AI contract reader grabs, but if you're doing it manually and you enter this here, that's now something that you can import into your email templates, right? So anytime you send an email on behalf of this transaction or this file now, and you want to include the purchase price in that email, you just have that smart field there and it does it automatically for you. So we have lots and lots of different smart fields that you can use, but you can also turn a lot of these off so that you don't get totally overwhelmed with them. But I'll go ahead and start this transaction just so we can finish the process. We'll do it this way. And while I'm doing that, do we have any questions?
Yes. Okay, let me. So one of the question is, how old is the software? And I don't think that you answered that, but maybe something you would like to talk about?
Yeah, absolutely. So we are coming up on 2 years old now, but there's a story behind that, right? So we are treating Listedkit right now as almost a brand new piece of software. So our team, when we were investigating the space to build software, we went out and we started interviewing people. But because we're not in this industry, we started talking to a bunch of agents, right? And what we did is we built a tool for agents. They all gave us this great feedback. This would be great. This would be great. Nobody wanted to buy it. It was kind of a disaster. Agents didn't want to buy the tool. They didn't want to pay for it. They were just using whatever someone else told them to use. That's when we discovered transaction coordinators, right? And you guys wear a lot of hats. There's a bunch of different types of titles for this role, but y'all were the folks that actually started really paying attention to us. And as we got into different Facebook communities and got to know people, turns out this software really should be for you guys, right? Not for agents. And so we've pivoted the tool almost entirely to become a transaction management platform, right? It's built for you guys. We're paying attention to what you're saying. We're taking your feedback and acting on it in the software. And most importantly, y'all are buying it, which is great. Those are the kinds of people, this is a good symbiotic relationship. So in the world of startups, and I've built a lot of startups at this point, pivots are pretty common, right? So you oftentimes build something and you learn like, ooh, I didn't build it for the right person, or I didn't have the right feature set in it. And if you've done your job right, you leave yourself enough runway and enough opportunity to actually turn things around and say, hey, someone else that I didn't expect is really enjoying this. I'm going to start focusing on them now. And that's what we've done with Listedkit. So it's 2 years old technically. It's probably, since we've made this pivot, it's less than 6 months old, or maybe right around 6 months at this point. Yeah.
So it's pretty new.
Yeah.
Super new. Awesome. Yeah. Perfect. That's great. And before you keep moving on, I just wanted to, David was saying that he's loving the little search feature. where you can go directly where the information was pulled from. I think that is super, super useful. I agree on that. That's a great feature. It helps to kind of review that AI was actually doing a good job.
Yeah, thanks for the
Super
comment, Dave.
important to be accurate. So yes, definitely, definitely,
Yeah.
definitely.
I have
Uh,
one thing to know about AI. I get a little bit wonky about this, but we consider this feature inside of Listedkit to be like we're just dipping our toes in the water with AI, right? Because there's so many things that we can do. We can see the path forward, but we really want to focus on making that part super, super valuable. We see a lot of times, and of course, I know it's different for everybody. Everybody has a different process. Agents have a different requirements, brokerages, et cetera, et cetera. But everything kind of starts with a contract, right? Everything kind of starts like you have the pre-listing stage, but then like really things kind of heat up when you've got someone who said, I'm going to buy this, or I now have a buyer for my property. And so we're trying really hard to get this discrete part right, because what we can see coming after that are things like automatically pulling in milestones, suggesting different tasks based on the information that we're pulling from inside of the contract, even helping. So you saw all those advanced fields, right, that we had there, actually creating those custom for each different user of Listedkit. Instead of seeing all those there, we see all of these things in your contract. We'll just make those for you. That way you don't have to sift through all of them. We know they're all there. These are all things that we know AI can do, but we got to get this piece really, really solid. So, this is one of the pitches that I have for your audience today is use it. Give us your feedback. We want to know. We know we're not hitting the nail completely on the head. We want to know how to make it better. And every time somebody uses it, we get a little bit better at that. So, yeah.
awesome,
Yeah.
awesome, perfect, perfect. Yeah,
Yeah.
that sounds good.
Cool. Shall I keep going or any other
Yes,
questions?
please, please. Thank
All
you.
right. Get back here. Cool. So that's the main crux of the AI features inside of Listedkit. A couple other things I wanted to touch on, just because everyone always has questions about it, is your kits and your email templates, and the service provider list. Those are three things that are certainly less sexy, but people have actually found a lot of value in them. So I wanted to make sure that I touched on them. With kits, again, this is your basically project management for you, right? This is you build these out yourself. I'm going to use the buyer under contract kit as an example. So every time you're working in these, you're building out the different milestones in your transaction, and then you're inserting your tasks, right? These tasks can have notes. They can be assigned to a different person inside of the application or inside of the transaction. A lot of people want to keep this just to the coordinator, but some people actually are okay with showing this off to their clients. We actually have a client portal, which has been really, really valuable for people, where clients can see anything that's been assigned to them. They can get quick email or SMS communication back and forth with their agents. It's a really valuable tool. It looks a lot like this, except it's just gated to seeing exactly what is assigned to them. So other things you can do there is you can decide what is visible and what isn't visible to those clients. You have a lot of flexibility here. But when you build these out, you can add anything you want really to the whole kit or to each individual milestone. So I can add a task, I can add a document request, or I can add a templated email. When I add a new task, I have a handful of options here. I can name it. I can assign it to the different person. This is a buying transaction, so coordinator, buyer, buyer's agent. Add a description, attach documents to that, right? So I can attach documents to each of those things. Set a due date. This is the part of the automation here. So we're working within a template. So it doesn't really have knowledge of a under contract date or a closing date. So what we do is we set, say, 3 days after contract or before closing date, right? And then when you begin a transaction and it actually has those dates, it'll automatically map the due dates to each of those tasks based on that information. So you go ahead and set that up here that way. I'm going to cancel out that. And then let's see what else here. The email piece I'm going to jump into in just a second, but I just wanted to show this off. Like we can add a review into this, we can add a milestone, and then that is saved. And you can go ahead and select that every time you start a new transaction or a new file, and it's automatically there. So your process is there. You don't have to like reopen your spreadsheet or your PDF or whatever else it is that you use. It's just right there. Everything lives in one place, including documents, including your history, et cetera, et cetera. Moving into your email templates, and then I will shut up for more questions. This looks a little bit like your kits, except that you're really just writing templates, right? So I'm going to edit one of these. to show you guys how that works. So as you are building out these emails, you can type whatever it is in here. You've got a somewhat full-featured rich text editor, so you can bold, italicize, underline, create numbered or bulleted lists, and you can even include links in there. One kind of fun trick is email. You can do mail to : and then your email address. That way anybody that gets this email can click that and email you back really easily. But these variables are the fun part, right? So we've got a bunch of these smart fields that I can just insert wherever I want them. So this is going to be a template. And if I say agent title, now every time I send this email, the agent title is going to be inserted right there, no matter who it is, whatever agent's on that transaction, that will be updated to match that transaction, right? I'm sure most of you have seen this before, but it's a really nice combination of both having the email automation and then including it in your workflows in each transaction or each file. So that's something I wanted to show off really quickly. There's a number of ways to use this. Again, I told you can automate these to be sent at a certain time or a date, or you can just send them individually within a transaction. All right, that's enough of me talking. More questions?
Okay, great. So here we have, are there any ways to integrate Google Calendar?
You have asked the $1 million question. So I'll tell you one thing we're working on right now. So you may have already thought of this if you were thinking ahead a little bit about the email feature inside of Listedkit. Right now, everything sends from no-reply@listedkit.com. So we are patiently waiting on Google to approve our application so that you can now send from your own domain. If you are a Google Workspace user, you'll be able to send from your own custom domain, your name at yourbusinessname.com. That way it looks and feels a lot more professional and customized to you. Because we'll have that in with Google, we're next going to start looking at Google Calendar integrations. So this is actually some feedback I would want from everybody on the call is would you rather see milestones on your calendar? Do you put tasks directly on your calendar? I would love to know how you guys are using that, because we are looking at that. That's something we're pretty serious about. I want to make sure that we build the right thing for you guys. But the short answer is no, we don't do that, but we are going to be doing that here pretty shortly. Google takes their sweet time when it comes to approving applications. So we're just kind of hanging out and waiting on them right now. It's already built. We just can't ship it until they approve us. So
Makes sense. Okay. And we have another one, if you're ready. Are there any kit templates already in, or do we have to build it all out ourselves? And I think that you show a little bit, 2 minutes ago, but maybe you can give us more information so we fully answer the question.
Absolutely. Everybody gets 4 template kits. These are just kits that we've put together as templates that kind of amalgamate a lot of information that we've learned over the past few months about how people do their work. They're not going to be perfect, but they are definitely a starting point. So the way you can identify those is you'll see the Listedkit symbol here, created by Listedkit, right? And those are included in everybody's account. You can use them, you cannot use them. It's entirely up to you. But you can also create your own, and you'll see this is created by Angela David. This is our fake transaction coordinator for this test account. So in this case, we actually showed this to someone who did a lot of cash offers, and they had a specific process for that. So we walked through actually building one with them, and now that's here. So yeah, there are 4 different kits. There's a buyer pre and under contract kit, and then there's a seller pre and under contract kit. You can add as many more to your specific Listedkit account that you want.
Awesome. Wonderful. So I think that we answered that question. If not, please ask another follow-up. I have another one here. Not sure if that makes sense for you.
Yeah.
Okay.
It does. And I know, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to try to go to a transaction and see that. I know we were working on this just today. So whenever that happens, whenever an engineer has been working on a feature that day, I'm always a little reticent to show it because
you don't know what you're going to do.
But I'm going to give it a shot. We'll see how it goes. I'm feeling lucky today. Start a review. So a review is an opportunity for you to take a look at all of the different requests and tasks inside of a transaction or a file, right? So you've got all these tasks and you've had all these document requests. And what we kept hearing from people is, especially for complex or long transactions, some of these things can kind of get away from you, right? Like you just kind of keep going. So we like to insert this review into any part of your transaction, any part of your kit, where it stops you and says, okay, stop, take a beat for a second, and let's take a look at all of your document requests and tasks and make sure they're all there. One of the cool parts about this feature is that, so we're on documents. So these are all the documents and these are all the tasks that are incomplete, right? So when we go, I'm going to use a document as an example. So earnest money receipt. I can select that and I can say, hey, this is late. What's up with that? And I can send that to whoever it is, whoever it's assigned to, right? It's assigned to myself. I can also include an additional message to that, and I can send that report. And you can do that with like as many tasks or as many different documents as you want, and that sends an email to that person and says, hey, what's up? We're missing this stuff from you, right? I want to close this thing on time, but I need you to actually get me that earnest money receipt. Or this task was not completed and it really needs to be completed before we can close. So that's what adding a review is. It just allows you a chance to stop yourself mid-process and make sure that everything, all of your I's are dotted and your T's are crossed. Yeah.
Makes sense. Makes sense. Yeah. All right. Thank you, Teresa, for your question. We appreciate that. And another one from David. Is this product currently just focused on transaction management, contract to close, or is it able to allow a TC, which are small business owners, create task list for things like onboarding new agents? And that is huge. The new agent onboarding.
Yep.
Thank you, David.
This is a lovely question. I'm really glad you asked this, David. So right now, the answer to that is no. It's just for transaction management, but we're in the middle of building this capability. So basically, we're in the middle of building the ability for you to create a kit that says, like, this is not for transactions. I've got a new agent. I want to onboard them. I'm going to send that to them. I'm going to assign all these tasks to them, and they got to do all these different things, right? They got to get me these documents or complete this form, et cetera, et cetera. We're also, the other thing that Listedkit doesn't currently allow that we're working on as a part of this larger piece of work is assigning to anybody on your team. So if you're not an independent TC, let's say you're in-house, right? And you've got an agent that's working a transaction and a client, but there's another person inside of your team that actually really handles this specific issue really, really well. So you want to create a task and assign it to that person. Right now, we only allow you to assign tasks to the members of a transaction or a file, right? So we're also building the ability to send and assign tasks to other people that are on your team, but that may not be a part of that particular transaction. So the short answer to that is, no, we don't currently do that, but we are taking a hard look at and actively building for more flexibility with tasks and kits, because we keep hearing that you guys want to do more stuff with this instead of just transaction management. So that should be coming in, I want to say, I hate to make promises because engineering can be difficult, but I want to say it's probably coming in the next couple of weeks, actually. So that's something that's actively being worked on right now. Yeah.
Pretty soon. Okay. That's awesome. Thank you. Thank you, David. All right, and we have another one here, if you don't mind, from Teresa. Will incoming emails connect to the transaction?
It will not. No, not right now. So we do what is called transactional email. And what that means is it's one direction. Email that's triggered by a certain action that somebody takes inside of an application. I would love to learn more about that. So the way I would interpret that question is maybe when I get an email from a client, from a customer, I want to be able to reference that inside of the transaction or the file as I'm moving along for reference. That's kind of what I'm inferring from that, but I would love to hear more about how that would be helpful for you, Tressa. So feel free to, you can put that in comments or put that in the chat. But right now, no, it's purely transactional email. It's one direction. It doesn't allow for connecting back into Listedkit. That's something we may be able to do in the future, though. So that's a good request.
Okay. Makes sense. All right. Wonderful. And we have one more from Teresa as well. She is interested to know if you guys have a Facebook group to collect feedback and questions.
We don't currently, although I'm pretty sure our marketer, Faye, is on this call right now. So if you're listening, that's your cue. Let's start a Facebook group.
Hi, Faye.
Faye keeps me straight. She's the person who makes sure that I'm showing up and doing things like this on time. But she is also the person who you'll
Yeah.
see in the various Facebook groups and commenting and participating in the chat. So yeah, for sure.
All right. Yep.
Yep.
Yeah. Faye is amazing. So, yep.
Mm-hmm. She is.
Awesome. Great. So far, I don't have any more questions at the moment. I don't know if you would like to, keep going. If you have any other features that you would like to show us.
Yeah, there's just a couple other things I wanted to touch on that people tend to find valuable. The first thing is, now this is one that is I don't have a demo of this right now because we've actually taken it down to do some work on it, but we have built an e-signature tool inside of Listedkit. It's a different price. It's an access requested feature. The reason we pulled it down is it wasn't really delivering the user experience we wanted. So we're reworking that. But I'm also interested in, from this community, like, is this something that would be valuable to you guys to have an embedded e-signature tool, or is that something you usually use what your agent uses, right? Like if your agent's on Dotloop or DocuSign, like we just use that, like really there would be no need for an e-signature tool. Because we're trying, again, remember we built this for agents originally, and now we're trying to gauge like, what do we need to keep in this application and what do we need to improve and how do we need to improve it? So that's a request to your community, is I'd love to hear more about that. The other thing is the service providers list. Now, this is something that I've been very surprised about. So what this lets you do is actually add a list of people that you trust, right, or your agent trusts, because inevitably, like when my wife and I bought our home, it's a 100-year-old home. The wiring was knob and tube. The plumbing was like whatever someone found in an alley somewhere in 1957. It was really bad, and we needed to do a lot of work on the house, and we didn't know where to start. We were 25 years old, right, and we didn't know where to start. So we were really lucky that we had good friends that made referrals for us. But this is something we allow people. This is a part of the client portal. They can access this there and say like, hey, I need a handyman, or I need a plumber, or an electrician, or et cetera, et cetera. And they can email and call those folks, right? That just keeps all that information there. One fun thing that people have started using this for, which is like, I didn't expect this, is they're charging people to be on their service provider list. So hint, hint, you can actually use this to make a little bit of money, because people will pay to be referred on behalf of your agents that you're working with, or the brokerages or teams that you're working with. So that's been another place where there's actually been a lot more value there than I actually expected. The only other thing that I wanted to show just real quick, because this does get missed, is in the customization side of things. So you can add your logo here, you can add your background color, but the advanced fields, this is something that is both powerful and overwhelming. When you go into your settings, you can decide what you don't want to see, right? And that'll clean that up for you quite a bit. We're working on making that a little easier to manage. But for now, if you decide to give it a try, if you want to start a trial with Listedkit, and those advanced fields are just like, oh, good Lord, there's so many of them. You can go to your settings and just turn off the ones that you don't use, or figure out another way to use them. But we want to try to make this as customizable as we can for you, because we know everybody does things a little different. And I think that's it for now. Does anybody have any other questions about Listedkit?
I actually have a follow-up question on what you just showed us on the advanced fields. Is that something, I know that you said that you can remove the ones that you don't use. Can you add your
Yep.
own dates or whatever fields you need?
It's a really good question. So this is actually part of what we're working on with the AI tool, right? So right now, each one of these is hard coded to every single account, right? So adding them in is a little bit cumbersome. It's really hard to do. It's not something a user can just do. Like our engineer has to like build that in. As we're working with the AI contract reader and we're looking at that and saying like, here are all the fields here, we're going to allow you to actually just import those fields and create them custom for your account. And then we'll also create the ability for you to create just one-off fields for a transaction. I just want to add this for this one transaction, or I want to add this and save it to my kits, right? So that's what we're working on right now with that, which is a lot of work. Working with AI is still pretty complicated, but again, we really see this like contract uploading as the entry point for a lot of the work that gets done. So right now, no, we can't do that like at the user level. We do take requests for that. If you don't see something there that you'd like to see, you can email me directly, and then I'll get with our engineer and we'll see what we can do about that. Again, remember what I said at the very beginning, like we're a startup and we pay attention to what you guys are saying. So we're happy to do that. But right now, what I would look for in the future is we're going to have some pretty powerful capabilities to create those custom for you and your contracts.
Okay, wonderful, wonderful. Perfect. So a couple of more questions, if you don't mind, Trevor. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Teresa was saying that it's extremely valuable, and she will need the ability to use different signs, I guess.
Signatures, I'm going to guess.
Oh, signatures. Okay, okay, okay.
Yeah.
That for the, I guess you were asking for the signature template
Mhm.
feature that you have there.
Yep. That is excellent feedback, Tressa. Thank you. So that we really, our team is like, we don't know if a TC would actually use this or not. So as we start to rework that feature set, this is the kind of feedback that will help us inform how we do that. Yeah.
Awesome, awesome. Perfect, perfect. And what else? We have another great question from Rinalyn. It says, you just discussed about assigning to people within the transaction. Can we give them full access to the transaction, or we can just assign certain tasks?
You can just right now you can just assign certain tasks. So as the admin on a transaction, you have full access. You have control over who is assigned to what. Your agents, right, and your clients will only see the things that they are assigned, right? So the things that you've said, like, I need you to do this, I need you to send me this document, I need you to do this and send me these documents. That's all they'll see. Now, as we update those permissions, one of the things it will include is the ability to say, I've got another TC or another admin on my team that I want to be able to manage this as well. And so you can give those people admin access to all that. Right now, if you add multiple admins, I think you can actually do that like in a sort of backwards way. But we'll actually allow a lot more flexibility for giving full access, partial access on each transaction. So, yeah.
Awesome. And that is just my questions, my own question. When you add or you give access to someone, does it count as another user?
Yeah. Okay. So right now we are actually working on our pricing model. We know we've been priced frankly, we've been priced fairly favorably because we've been looking for new users and getting feedback. So we're at $49 a month. Unlimited people on the team, unlimited transactions. We know that's like, we can't keep it there forever because, hey, we're using AI, which gets expensive. So what we're going to do moving forward, and this will probably roll out in the coming months, is we're only going to charge for admin seats, right? So we're not going to charge for agents and clients, people that just need to check in and see the tasks they need to check off. We're actually only going to be charging for the people who are doing their daily work here inside of the application. We feel like that's a pretty fair deal to say, like, if you're getting a lot of value from this, if this is helping you do your daily work, like, that's where we want to charge. We don't want to charge for every client that accesses their portal or every agent that accesses their portal. We're going to leave those alone. Those are all free, just included with that subscription.
Got it, got it. Okay, thank you so much for the clarification. And I have one more question for you is, what type of support do you offer when someone comes on board to, for the setup or training?
Yep. So this is where you and your community will really benefit because we're very early stage and we do a lot of stuff manually, right? So we know that migrating tasks and processes and everything is actually kind of a pain, right? So all the folks out there that are using A-Frame or open to close, things like that, like, y'all know they have literal consultants that you pay thousands of dollars to set those accounts up for you. We do that for free. So if you want to start a trial and you're serious about using Listedkit, you can reach out to me, you can reach out to Faye, and we'll actually just take your list for you. We'll go in and we'll add them there. We'll get them all set up for you. We'll hop on a call with you and walk you through the software, make sure that you're comfortable with everything. We'll even create your email templates. You just send us the copy. We'll create those and insert your smart fields in that. We just want to make sure you're really successful with that. So right now you're getting a lot of like hands-on support. You can't do that forever. Most companies, as they grow, that level of support goes down. But right now, we're able to do that, and we're happy to do that.
Wonderful, great, great. And I think that I missed another question earlier. It's also from Teresa, and she was asking if you guys have, training videos in YouTube.
Yep, we've started building those out. We don't have the library we'd like to have at this point, but yeah, I think Faye has started building those out. She gives me a bunch of my own tasks to create all these videos. So we're working on those. But yeah, we do have a YouTube channel. We do have some training videos there, and then we're adding to those constantly.
Wonderful, wonderful. Okay, very good, very good. All right. Do you have any other features to show us, Trevor?
I don't think I do. I'm gonna actually stop sharing my screen so I can see everything full now. No, I just really appreciate the opportunity to come and share with everybody. I'm a big nerd. I love building products. I love building valuable products for people. So, I would love it if you guys, if anybody on this call wants to start a trial, like, don't just start a trial, like reach out to me. I want to know how things are going. I'm not a salesperson. I'm not even a very good salesperson. So I really just want to know how you're liking the software and what I can do to make it better for you and how I can help you get onboarded and going with it. So we just appreciate the opportunity to share with your community. Yeah.
Of course, of course. No, that's been great. Thank you so much. And I talked to Faye, and you guys were super, super generous to offer a little bit of a surprise for the audience today, because you guys will benefit. If you would like to start, a subscription with them, with a 50% off for the first month. But
Mhm.
that offer is going to expire in 48 hours. So
Mhm.
if after this call, after this live stream, you think that this is something you would like to try, don't delay, because the code is going to only work for 48 hours. Today is May the 9th, 2024, so keep that in mind.
Yeah.
And regardless, if you miss the code or if you see this replay, still make sure that you visit their website and you go ahead and connect with them and ask any questions, and take advantage of what Trevor was saying, that right now, they are, more dedicated. They have the chance to do it because it's a startup, but it's not going to always be like that. So, I guess that if you would like to contact Trevor and team, that will be a perfect opportunity for you right now.
Yeah.
Is it
Yeah.
true?
It's totally true. This is the fun stage. I love doing this stuff. So, yeah, bug me. I want to get your emails, and I'd love to help you get set up on Listedkit.
What's the best way to connect with you, Trevor?
Yeah, you can email me at trevor@listedkit.com. Super straightforward. You can also email Faye, FE@listedkit.com. We're both, ready and waiting to help you guys out. So, yeah.
Okay, wonderful. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put their contact information below in the comments as soon as we finish this live stream. So, you don't have to take notes right now. Everything is going to be included. And again, reach out with any questions. And Trevor, thank you so, so much for your time. I know that, we're almost like more than 45, almost 50 minutes in this call. We really appreciate,
My pleasure.
everything that you've done, everything that you show us, all the questions that you answer. And yeah, thank you. We
Yeah, of
appreciate it.
course. Yeah, it's really good to talk to you, and I hope everybody has a really great rest of the week. We're almost at the weekend, so enjoy your weekend.
Oh, yeah. Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Trevor, and everyone else that joined live. So, okay, we'll see you around. Thank you.
Thank you.